Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and hit the bell icon. Weekly Bold and the Beautiful Recap. Week of October 14 to 18, Healing Chakras and Beacons of Light. After Taylor and Ridge align their chakras, she and Brooke confront each other. Carter defends Hope for the future. Will breaks his employment news to his dad, and Hope and Carter grow closer while Liam vows not to give up on reuniting with Hope. It was a dramatic 5 days in Los Angeles, and the Bold and the Beautiful recap for October 14 to 18 featured opportunities for healing chakras, passionate defenses, and interrupted kisses. What happened in Los Angeles? Monday, October 14, 2024. While Hope, Annika Noel, and Carter, Lawrence St. Victor, were kissing and close talking, Steffi, Jacqueline Masinswood, interrupted them, but she was none the wiser. Her take: Hope was badgering Carter about hope for the future. After the COO left, Hope and Steffi tried to have a mature conversation, but not before Steffi lectured Hope about bothering Carter. Also, she makes a sarcastic mention of how Hope kissed Finn, Tanner Novlin, but they both attempted to seem on board with finding a way to coexist peacefully. The ultimate goal would be their families to get along and be friends even. Ultimately, they don't yell at each other. However, when they talk about their mothers, Hope says Brooke, Catherine Kelly Lang, could respect Taylor's Rebecca Buddig relationship with Ridge, Thorsten K. However, Steffi can't help but say something about how, since Taylor's a good person, she'll never try to break up Brooke and Ridge. On the other hand, they will have a love that never dies. At Steffi's, Brooke continued to spy on Ridge and Taylor, shaking up their chakras. With each exercise or pose, it worked on their connection. The final pose had Taylor straddling Ridge's lap. At the end of the session, Taylor felt lighter and freer and no longer wanted to keep her journey a secret. After Ridge left, Brooke walked in and wanted to know what was going on. Taylor finally revealed to Brooke that she had broken hearts syndrome. Brooke looked skeptical and furious. Tuesday, October 15, 2024. Brooke confronted Taylor about the spectacle she saw from afar. At one point, Taylor straddled Ridge's lap, and they looked intimate. Brooke needed Taylor to fill her in because the optics were bad. Taylor explained her heart problems, broken heart syndrome, and the purpose of the healing session. At first, Brooke was hella skeptical. She thought this was all a ploy for Taylor to get closer to Ridge. Even after she started to accept the broken heart syndrome part of it, she still accused Taylor of going after Ridge and asked her not to. At the hospital, Finn and Steffi were the happy couple. In between kissing, they discussed Taylor and Ridge taking over their house that night. They had no idea what was going on in their home, but Steffi couldn't help but be curious. Ridge arrived at Eric's, John McCook, where Ridge was finally able to get Eric up to speed on the Taylor broken heart diagnosis. Eric told Ridge that Brooke thought she needed to be worried about Taylor. Ridge assured his dad that she didn't need to feel this way. He'd explain everything to her as soon as he could. Later, Brooke and Ridge talked. Brooke told him she knew about everything, and that she, in fact, had confronted Taylor. Meanwhile, Ridge let her know that Taylor had asked him not to say anything to anyone. Brooke wanted to know what he was doing with his ex-wife. Eventually, Taylor sat Steffi down and told her daughter why she and Brooke had to have a talk. And she started to tell Steffi about coming back to Los Angeles to be with her and the grandkids, and to deal with the fact that she thought she was dying. Taylor continued to talk to Steffi about her heart disease scare, and the broken heart syndrome diagnosis. The aligning of her chakras with Ridge helped her immensely. As long as she kept her appointments with the cardiologist and took her medication, she'd continue feeling like a new woman. Ridge and Chandra helped her deal with stuff she hadn't dealt with for a long time, including Phoebe's death. While Steffi told Taylor not to worry about Brooke, Taylor assured her she wouldn't. Although, she wasn't back in town to reunite with Ridge. However, she definitely wanted him in her life. Meanwhile, Brooke and Ridge talked about what happened between him and Taylor. She wanted him to help her understand what went on, and he described the whole yab yum pose, the one with Taylor straddling Ridge, and how they connected and became one. Brooke told Ridge that a pose like that is not something you do with someone who's not your significant other or wife. He should have told her what he had planned for Taylor, but now that they had cleared all that up, she wanted him to show her the same yab yum pose. Apparently, Liam Scott Clifton created some sort of video tribute for HFTF, and it was basically a look at Hope's life, her work life and her family life with Liam and the kids, and he made it clear that he had been thinking about her and was inspired by her. Even though she liked the way they were now, he kissed her out of the blue and told her he'd been waiting to do that for a long time. Thursday, October 17, 2024. Steffi and Ridge talked about Taylor and the whole spiritual healing scene at her house. When Steffi thought Brooke had to have had a conniption seeing Taylor straddling Ridge, Ridge had an answer for her. He told her how he and Brooke made up for that. When Steffi reacted, Brooke walked in. Meanwhile, Hope was stressed about the upcoming HFTF meeting. Liam tried to calm things down by offering to take Beth, Jordan Lynn Ariza, for the evening. Carter interrupted, and after he hyped Hope up for the meeting, they had no choice but to attend. At Spencer Publications, Will Crew Morrow delivered news that he hoped wouldn't upset his dad too much. He was now an intern at Forrester. Bill, Don Diamond, wasn't happy with the news, but once he found out why Will wanted it, the beautiful women who worked there, he got on board. Later, Will, Liam, and Bill talked about a guys' night so Bill could spend more time with Will, and Liam, of course, talked about Liam wanting Hope again. Later, at the HFTF meeting, Steffi repeatedly asked Carter for the HFTF numbers. Only he skirted the question and laid out his thoughts for saving HFTF. After all, it wasn't all about the bottom line. They needed to take a new strategy and put some energy and money into it like they did with Brooke's bedroom. Send, Dylan Demetz, and RJ Joshua Hoffman were there and excited about their contributions, but it was hard to object when Carter called Hope a beacon of light and didn't hold back on how the fashion line needed support, not a cancellation. Friday, October 18, 2024. Steffi opens up to Finn about the HFTF meeting and how Carter stepped up for Hope and defended her line. Steffi looked perplexed as to why Carter felt the fashion line should be saved. That maybe he saw something that she didn't. Brooke thanked Carter for all the nice things he said about Hope and HFTF, then headed to Il Giardino where she updated Deacon Sincana about Steffi going after Hope's line again. The two talked about Carter being the one to stand up for the line. Deacon offered to send Carter a couple of pizzas for his trouble. Back at the office, Hope attempted to thank Carter for his work, but he told her that no thanks were needed. She appreciated him standing up for her line, and he truly felt that cutting it would be a mistake. He then suggested they celebrate at his place. At Spencer Publications, Bill wanted to learn more about what Will told Liam about Hope. When Bill wanted to know how Hope responded to Liam wanting to reunite, Liam had to tell his dad that she didn't exactly run into his arms. He understood where she was coming from, but he wasn't going to give up. Later, Will told his brother to fight for Hope. At Carter's apartment, Hope thanked Carter again, which resulted in him admitting he couldn't stop thinking about her. Then, the two chatted about Liam. Carter knew Liam wanted her back. She confirmed that her ex wanted to reunite, but she told him she wasn't about that life. Carter offered some advice, more compliments, and even a flashback to Rome and the Piazza Navona. Ultimately, he told Hope it would be a huge mistake if she went back to Liam. At least not before she'd fully explored what else was out there. The two ended the episode by making out, but Hope suddenly put a halt to the action. Why did she decide to hit pause?